Hey, what is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Under the Rim podcast. We got a few things to talk about today. Sorry it took a little break in there. I've just been working hard with my new program. I'm getting interviews secured for the podcast, like I said in my last episode. It's just been a whirlwind of things, but like NBA news. NBA news, what's been happening? NBA's been wilding. Okay, everybody's been wilding. I'm sort of pissed off at the Celtics right now because they cost me about $95. $95. I had a free $50 bet. I forget which app I was using. I had a free $50 bet, and I looked on it. This was yesterday, so this was what, March 6th, and I looked on the website, and it was like Celtics and Cavs, and the Celtics were the underdogs with a plus 190 favorite, and I was like, what the hell? That doesn't make any sense. This was before I knew Tatum was injured. Okay, just keep that in mind. And I was looking at the players on the score app, and it was like Donovan Mitchell is a game time decision. So I'm like, okay, you know what? They still have Jaylen Brown. Like, the Celtics are still a deep team. You know, they should be able to pull out this dub. And I'm looking at it, and it's like, okay, it's a back to back. Celtics just blew two leads. You know, it's not looking too good, but I'm even though I hate the Celtics, I'm trusting them to get me this money. So I bet 50. This is free $50. This is not 50 I took out because I'm not crazy. 50 to get 95. Okay, I'm watching the game. They have a nice lead. Okay, Grant Williams is hitting buckets. Jaylen Brown is going crazy. I'm like, all right, they're controlling the game. Donovan Mitchell is doing his thing, but it's like they're trading buckets, you know, until we hit the fourth, and then the Celtics proceed to blow the lead. And I was like, what are you guys doing, bro? This is why I don't watch this damn team. But so Grant Williams goes to the line, okay, and it's literally zero point 0.8 seconds left in the game. All he has to do is hit one free throw, and these guys win the game. Tell me why. Tell me why. He talks trash to Sabata, all right, to Donovan Mitchell, and he's like, I'm gonna make both. Bro is having his Kobe moment right now. He misses both of the free throws. They go to overtime and they lose. I'm telling you, I've never been more frustrated than when I last placed a bet, and I think I had like, it was like $75, right? It's free $75 bet, and this was with FanDuel. Okay, and this is when it's like a refer a friend thing. You refer a friend, you get $75. I referred a friend. She got her $75. I got mine, but it's credits, right? So you gotta make a bet to turn into actual money. So I'm like, I need something that's so surefire, it won't miss. Like, you know, it won't miss. And I'm like, okay, best center in the NBA, Joel Embiid, 8 rebounds. I think he can get 8 rebounds. Bro gets 5, and there goes my $75, or potential $75. I don't know. I'm telling you, when I bet on something, like when I can call it, but if I bet on it, it's a whole nother story. Like, side note, my friends were asking about the fight this past weekend with John Jones, you know, and I said, they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, okay, my gut is telling me Jones wins by submission, you know, and tell me, I don't know why Jones wasn't the betting favorite going into these fights, but I said Jones wins by submission. And with the Tommy Fury Jake Paul fight, I said Fury wins by split decision. I'm not calling myself a guru, but if I were to bet on these fights, Jake Paul was winning and John Jones was getting knocked out. So I didn't bet on these fights. Anyways, a lot of things happening in the NBA these past few weeks. A lot of crazy things for me to cover, talk about, give my thoughts on. But first, I want to talk about today when I saw what was going on with JJ Redick and Kendrick Perkins on First Take. Okay, so Kendrick Perkins, if y'all don't know yet, has been spewing this narrative that, well, implying basically that the NBA voters for MVP, whoever does the voting, this group of people, they are mainly white and they favor white players. There's like a goalpost shift, you know, when it comes to black players versus white players, how the last three like white MVPs haven't been top 10 scoring, whatever, you know. And then so he's trying to push this narrative, which is really weird, you know. And he brought up like Jokic stat padding, how Russ didn't get the same flack, or how Russ got the flack but Jokic is not getting any flack, things like that. And, you know, I can kind of see it, but I don't really see Jokic stat padding, considering it was either yesterday night or the day before. He was on the verge of a triple-double. I think he was 1 assist off or 1 rebound off. He could have easily stat padded and got that triple-double, but clearly he doesn't care. And Kendrick kept telling, or Perkins kept telling JJ Redick, you don't know what's in his head. You don't know what Jokic is thinking. Like you can't speak for him. But then it's like, why is Perkins trying to speak for Jokic? You don't know what's in his head either. Well, you can't just assume the worst out of him, when he's never given us a reason to. But then JJ Redick completely blasted this dude. I'm telling you guys, go watch the segment and come back to this. But it was one of my favorite first take segments, okay? Because it shows us that the new, like, I don't want to say new media because I kind of hate that term, but with JJ Redick coming up and these players being not using more of an eye test, but they know the game more. They're not just spewing garbage like Skip Bayless or something. They're not just saying nonsensical takes. They have fact behind what they're saying, and that's why I liked guys like I love JJ Redick. I love Max Kellerman. Because they use statistics. And I'm an eye test guy, but I'm also a stats guy as well. And they prove it. So Kendrick Perkins made the statement that the last 3 MVPs that haven't been top 10 in scoring were white. And then JJ Redick immediately comes back with, it's interesting that your cutoff point for that was, I think he said 1990, because the 3 years before that, when Magic won it, he was only top 10 in scoring once, and he was 10th in one of those years. The other years, he was like 15 and 18th in scoring. And you got Kendrick Perkins just sitting there like, So he's creating a narrative that could be very harmful. Trust me, okay? If there was a hint of racism, we'd see it. I'd call it out. I'm pretty sure many people would call it out. But I don't think it's not more so to do with racism. It's more so to do with the criteria always shifting. Okay, no one really knows what the criteria is. Because some years, I think it's more what I was telling my friends today. I think it's more storylines than criteria. I think it's more who has the best narrative going into the season. Like, for example, Westbrook, when Kevin Durant left. Westbrook did amazing things. Average triple-double, I think he was 6 seed that year. Kevin Durant left. All these things, so all these things played into that factor. When Rose won his MVP, youngest MVP to ever do it. So I think storylines has a lot to do with it. Maybe I don't want to say more than 50%, but it does go into the voters' minds when they're thinking like, what would create the best storyline? What creates this, like 73-9 Warriors, like ended off with an MVP and a ring, type of stuff like that. And there's also voter fatigue. I think Perkins forgets about that. I thought voter fatigue was going to hit with Jokic this year. I thought he wins 2 back-to-back. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure he won 2 back-to-back. And then this year they were going to be like, no more. And they were going to give it to either Luka or maybe Giannis, because Giannis only has... Does Giannis have 1 or 2? Because I was thinking they got tired with Giannis too. So I thought they were going to give it to Luka or Tatum or even Embiid. But it looks like Jokic is the running favorite right now, and I won't be mad. Personally, my MVP is Giannis, but I'll understand it. I'll understand it if Jokic gets it. Bro's averaging a triple-double. I think they might have the best record. Let me check this. They might have the best record, and I don't want to just say it because I could just be talking. I don't want to just be spewing. Let me check here. Skip this. League standings. Here we go. Yeah, they have the best record in the West right now. So, makes sense. He's pretty much averaging a triple-double, best record. I don't know. I honestly think if he wins MVP this year and they get booted out the playoffs again, I don't know if he wins it again. I don't think they'll give it to him at this point. I think they'll definitely have voter fatigue. I think they're going to be like, you're playing nice, but it's like... And as much as people want to say this is a regular season award, like, you got to remember, like, too, if people don't see you producing or winning rings, like, how many MVPs are you really going to win, And I do feel like if Luka had a higher seed, if the team was higher, he'd be winning MVP at this point. He'd probably be a favorite for MVP. He was my early favorite in the season, too. I had him winning that, but because he was doing literally generational things. Anyways, I just love to see JJ Redick blasting this dude, bro. Like, yo, I don't know. And it's so funny, too, because right now I am in my final year of, let's say, journalism school. I'm in a graduate program called sports journalism. Okay, and I did my last 3 years in regular journalism, and now I'm doing sports journalism for just this year. And I've learned so many things, okay? And there's so many yes and no's that you do, like do and don'ts. And I'm telling you, when I've seen big time prime time journalists breaking the don'ts, and Perkins never went to journalism school, okay? So he's going off the top. And there are a lot of things he's just saying. You don't just say things, you don't just say things without, you can't confuse your opinion with fact, and that's what he's doing. And he's creating harmful narratives because a lot of people watch First Take. A lot of people listen to these people. A lot of casuals watch this and take it as fact, and they run with it. These shows, whether they want to admit it or not, First Take creates narratives. First Take helps create narratives. I'm not saying they're the number one leading factor of creating narratives, but they certainly help because a lot of people watch this. A lot of people watch them. A lot of people base their basketball knowledge off what people like Stephen A. Smith have to say, what Skip Bayless has to say, Shannon. These guys, they go off the top like this. Like, was it Nick Wright? People use Nick Wright, Colin Cowherd. Cowherd, sorry. My apologies. A lot of people watch these shows and they base their opinions off that. So for him to come on and say, yeah, 80% of these voters are white, and implying that they're only voting for Jokic because he's white, and it's very, very dangerous. It creates a very, very dangerous standard, and I think ESPN needs to crack down on Perkins for that garbage, because that is just a horrendous take. Can you imagine, right? Okay, can you imagine if JJ Redick came on First Take and said some shit like that, but in reverse, was saying how the NBA favors black players, and they're not looking at Luka anymore, or just made up some narrative, some garbage narrative that doesn't make any sense, he would be crucified. And I'm not saying like a favoritism doesn't happen, okay? When it comes to skin color, it certainly does happen, but I don't think it's happening here, okay? I don't think in this case they're just basing it off what people are doing, and Jokic is doing generational things. Yeah, Embiid's going off. Yeah, he dropped 40 points the other night, but he also grabbed 6 rebounds. He also got 6 rebounds, and he has help from Harden, 15 and 20 from Harden, 14 and 20, I think. Does it make he's doing anything less? I don't think it is, but honestly, the Sixers aren't selling me right now. Jokic is playing better than Embiid. Tatum is arguably playing better than Embiid. Luka is playing better than Embiid. Giannis is playing better than Embiid. So when you're arguing the best center, it's hands down Jokic right now. He is doing things we have never seen before. Never seen a center do before. We've had glimpses, flashes, yeah, but we've never seen this level of passing. I'm telling you, we've seen good passing from centers, but like this, to average triple double like this, no, we haven't seen it. We have never seen it. The scoring, and this leads me into what I want to talk about next, okay? And with the guests coming on in how many episodes, these are things I'm going to ask about the scoring in the NBA, the All-Star game, things like this. And this leads me to what I was going to say is the level of scoring in the NBA, okay? Right now, it is insane. We've just seen, I think it was either last week or the week before, we just seen Lillard dropped 71, and I think it was Donovan Mitchell dropped 71 as well. He dropped 70. He had a 70-point game, 2 70-point games, first time ever in the NBA. We've seen more people than ever score 50, like it's 30. We've seen people score 60. The scoring and the talent are something are on generational levels that we've never seen in the NBA before. Never, okay? It's never been this talented. Say what you want, but it has never been this talented before. There's never been this much parity in the NBA. Okay, there's not one surefire player. Like, they had a Kobe. They had a Kobe, LeBron, but now LeBron's slowing down, right? So who's the next face of the NBA? Is it Giannis? Is it Luka? Do they even want it to be Giannis and Luka? That's the thing, though. Like, there's so many different conversations that can go from here, but I want to focus on the scoring right now. And I saw this video the other day, and the NBA, it was weird. I can't remember the guy who published it. I have it saved on my phone somewhere, but he was talking about the NBA did once get this high of scoring. Teams were averaging a lot of points per game, So what they did was they introduced 2 more teams, I believe it was, 2 more teams. And once they expanded the NBA, the scoring went back down. So I do think an expansion's on the rise. I do think an expansion team is coming. A new team is coming. Maybe Seattle, maybe Vancouver, maybe Las Vegas. Who knows? But this level of scoring, I don't know. Like, you guys can either, if you're watching on YouTube, answer or just tweet me at Ryan Kyle on Twitter. Do you guys think it's coming from a lack of defense, or is the level of talent in the NBA too high right now? And I think it could be both. Generally, I think it could be both. I think you have on one side, you got guys like Lillard, Ja Morant. I don't want to throw Trae Young in there. I guess Trae Young is nice, but he's not there yet. He's not Steph Curry level there yet. Got Steph Curry shooting from 30. I'm gonna throw Trae Young in there. Whatever. He's still nice. Luka, Giannis. These are players like you never would have seen a Trae Young how many years ago. It's like Steph Curry bred a new breed of player with the three ball, the handles, and shooting from deep. You've never seen this level of shooting in the NBA before. The level of taking as many threes and making them. I've seen JJ make the argument the other day that Larry Bird is not a top 5 shooter anymore. And it makes sense. It makes sense because you got guys like Steph, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard. They're taking more threes than Larry Bird and making more, higher percentage. That makes them a better shooter. Say what you want about Larry Bird. He was amazing. He was cold. I'm not taking anything away from him. But right now, we've never seen things like this before. We've never seen shooting like this before. The talent-wise, it's off the charts in the NBA. There's so much parity right now. I want to give title predictions, but I generally don't know who would win. I think my matchup right now is the Bucks coming out the East. And I want to say Phoenix, but something about me, it's like when a few podcasts back, if you guys go back, something about Brooklyn didn't sell me, and something about Phoenix isn't selling me either. I generally feel like if you get Luka and Kyrie going, they could take down the Phoenix Suns in like 6 games. Okay? They could take down, because Chris Paul could disappear. Chris Paul could easily disappear. Devin Booker could go cold. And it's happened before. Luka single-handedly took them down, right? You give him Kyrie, what happens next? Okay, so maybe I'm either saying the Nuggets or even I know I just shot them, but like maybe Phoenix. It depends. I gotta see more from them. I think Kevin Durant's only played 1 or 2 games so far, so maybe I'll change my tune. But Nuggets and Bucks probably, if you ask me. I got the Nuggets and Bucks making the finals, and then the Lakers don't even get me started about them. But right now, there's so much up in the air about the NBA. There's so much parity, and I love it because. As big as LeBron fan I am, I got tired of seeing Cavs and Warriors every single year. Love seeing LeBron in the finals, but I was tired of seeing the Warriors in the finals. Okay, and everyone was predicting it. Everyone was calling it predictable. So as soon as you got the Raptors in 2019 versus Golden State, you could see the city come alive. You see Toronto came alive, and they won a chip, and it's so good just to have different teams in the finals, honestly, instead of the same team every single year. But transitioning from the scoring and the parity in the NBA, I want to talk about Ja's recent antics too. I generally do not know what he is doing. I don't know if Ja belongs to a gang. I don't know if... What I've seen so far is Ja grew up in the suburbs. He grew up near a poor area, but he wasn't in the poor area. Like that's like me. Like I grew up in Toronto. I grew up in Scarborough, and I grew up in a poor area before I moved to the house you guys see I'm in now. But I grew up in a poor area. But then that's like me claiming or getting a huge job, making it big, and then claiming I'm from whoever, acting like someone I'm not, and just being a menace at the time right now, because you get an opportunity of a lifetime. These are opportunities that people would kill for, that people in these areas are working their ass off to get into, money that they can't even dream of, that money that is so huge that they don't know. This is like, let me just rephrase, okay? Let me put this out there. Money that people can't even fathom. money that people think about, but they will never know. They can never touch it because it's such a faraway dream. Ja has that right now. He has that money, and he has more money coming to him if he keeps this level of play up. One of the biggest contracts ever, probably. The Grizzlies were going to hold him down. He just signed a Nike deal, okay? This is insane level of money, and he's doing things that he's not supposed to be doing, you know? Maybe let's say he did used to be like that, but you got out of there. You want to support your family. You want to continue to grow your family. You want to support yourself. You don't want to squander this opportunity you've been giving. And it's like, why? I get the whole protecting their mom story at Walmart, you know, or whatever, wherever it was. But are you really gonna pull up with 9 guys just to deal with one? Like, what were you gonna do? What were you gonna do? Beat him up and then go to jail? Beat him up? You gotta think about you gotta think about your own career here and what it means for your own family. Again, if he assaulted, like if someone assaulted my mom, yeah, I'm going to jail for that. But the guy didn't lay your hands on her. He was just probably like annoying her, whatever. Come intimidate him, do what you want. But then again, why are you flashing a gun on IG? Why are you doing this? Like, why I just read a report too saying how Steven Adams. So I read the report. Steven Adams talked to the whole group. And he said, "Listen, we got to get it straight. Get your off-court antics settled." And the whole group knew who he was talking about. You know, it was directed at all of them, but it was really directed at one person. And right after that, you got Ja going to the club and literally flashing a gun that's the size of my thumb on like IG Live or whatever. NBA suspends him for 2 days. Okay. You are working so hard, and why are you acting like this, bro? Why are you this is what I'm so confused about, Ja, because why are you moving like this, bro? You have guys like DeRozan, John Wall, Damian Lillard, Derrick Rose. Some of these guys came out of Compton, some of these guys came out of Chicago, probably some of the worst areas to grow up in. But they did it. They forged the path for themselves, and they made it. Did John Wall throw up gang signs here and there? Yeah. But do you see him going back and trying to run licks on people? No. Because they made it out. They're not trying to go back. They'll support their homies and whatever. But they're not trying to go back there. They're not trying to be the first ones to make it out of the NBA. Okay? So this is what kind of just pisses me off about this whole situation. Because he has generational wealth that a lot of people will probably never, ever see in their lifetime. He's probably on his way to making close to $500 million with these contracts, you know, if he hasn't already. Because I don't know what the next max contract he could sign, upwards of 200 to 300 mil. I don't know yet. Okay, and with the Nike sponsorships and whatever, I think he's the Powerade. Like face now because they're relaunching. So he's swimming in money. So you don't need to be doing this. Just get your boys out the hood, look after the ones that were there for you, and keep it moving, keep it pushing. Because it's kind of cringe at the same time too. It's kind of just like you grew up in the suburbs. Why are you moving like this? Are you trying to impress people? Because you're not impressing nobody. Everyone's just kind of clowning you. And then he put it on social media that he was taking a break and leaving because of stress, and he was getting help. That's so weird to me. That's so weird to me that you have to say you're getting help for this. Like, is it like you couldn't control yourself from doing this? And stress. My friend posted a picture of Ja holding the gun in our group chat, and he's like smiling, and it's like, does this look like a man who stressed you? I don't know. Listen, if he comes back and he changes his tune, good on him. I am so proud of him for doing that. You know. So let's see. Ja, I'm pretty sure Ja is the same age as me. All right, he is 20. I think he's 23. I'm 23, right? I'm the same age as Luka and stuff. I think Tatum's 1 year older. So it's just kind of crazy to see how people my age are walking these different like strokes of life, I should say, walks of life, you know. And he has such an incredible opportunity, and I don't know why it's like he's trying to squander this. I'm sure he's been shit on enough. Okay, so I'm not gonna go any more into this because he's gotten it from Shannon, Stephen A, all these guys. Okay, and I'm sure his own family has talked to him. I don't know about his dad because his dad is moving kind of weird. He needs to act like a parent and not his homie. Put your foot down and don't let your son squander this opportunity he's been given. This God-given gift he has, because you don't want to be playing overseas because you made some mistake that could be easily been prevented. Easily be prevented, especially when everybody's telling you stop this, focus on ball, chill after the court, relax, whatever, but don't be moving weird. And like, I just hope like it stops. It just stops. And I think it will. I think this has been a real wake up. This 2-day suspension had to have been a wake up call for him. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll come back on here again singing his praises if he does. If not, tough. We'll see. And probably the last thing I want to talk about today before the next episode or whatever is the All-Star game. I have never seen this level of, should I say, disappointment from the All-Star game, or this many people shitting on the All-Star game, because I've seen people saying it's not worth to watch it. The defense is lacking. The players are literally just standing there. There's Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum 1v1ing. There's like a picture of it. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are 1v1ing on the court. Okay, and there's a picture of them dueling right there, and everybody's just standing in the corner, just standing on the left wing, just chilling, hands to their side, whatever, and they're going back and forth. And this whole game, I was watching this game, and with the new format, usually when you hit the fourth quarter, that's when it gets really intense. It gets really competitive. These guys want to win. It seemed like these guys did not care. And you can make the argument here that they don't want to, like, I'll hear people saying they don't want to get injured. You don't want to get injured. You don't want to risk it. Like, the All-Star game isn't that meaningful. Who's trying to risk an injury? So why is it that in the summer, when these guys are at the LA Fitness or whatever, playing pickup games against each other, they're going hard like it's the Game 7 in the NBA Finals. They're not worried about an injury then. But all of a sudden, when millions of people are watching, then you're worried about an injury. I don't know. Doesn't make it make sense to me. I don't know what can be done to fix this. I've thought about it. I don't have any potential solutions for you guys. Maybe maybe just have Adam Silver watch it, and if he determines that they're not playing hard enough, pay deduction, something. I don't know, something that gets people to play again. Or maybe just have a meeting with the players. What will it take for you guys to actually play? Should they just get rid of the All-Star game in general? Should they get rid of All-Star weekend? I think they should get rid of the dunk contest. Honestly, it doesn't sound like a popular opinion. This might be a hot take. But I think we've reached a plateau of what dunks can be done. And until we get people jumping from the three-point line, I think we've reached our maximum potential of what has been seen and what can be seen. Or just leave this for here's what you do. You can move the dunk contest to halftime, because no one cared about the performance at All-Star weekend. We can move the dunk contest. You can move the three-point contest halftime. Whatever. I don't know. You rearrange this how you want. Get rid of the skills challenge, okay? Get rid of the skills challenge. You bring it a 1v1 tournament. You do one for the bigs, one for the guards, okay? Figure it out how you want. You could even combine both. See how you do. Because if we just got Embiid posting up Trae Young, it's not fair. Okay, but if you do guards, forwards, centers, or just do some forwards on the guard side, some forwards on the center sides, depending on the sizes, and just have them a 1v1 tournament. Have them have a 1v1 tournament. Or just have straight centers and then guards and forwards. It's up to them. But I think a 1v1 tournament will really bring the competitiveness out of these players. I think that's what they want to see. I think that's what the fans want to see. I want to see something like Kyrie and KD. I want to see something like Kyrie and Steph. I want to see Steph versus or Giannis versus LeBron, like something like that. People want to see this, and give them a good incentive. Give them a money, bonus. You win, you get $1 million bonus. Something like that. Make it more entertaining, because right now, All-Star Weekend is dying. It is dying. And from the Twitter reception and from everything, I don't like. It's hard to say. It's generally hard to say. But yeah, I want to thank all you guys for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, I want to thank you for listening. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I will be back at you with an episode probably next week. Have a few interviews or guests coming on the podcast lined up, so I'll see what happens with that. I'll see who we can get on, but be on the lookout for that. And thank you guys so much for listening, and I see you guys on the next episode.